Good morning, guys. I am boiling some eggs and trying to recover from yesterday when the little was here. Wreaked havoc all day long, as you probably saw if you watched yesterday's morning show. She is hilarious. And we got to meet Aurora Dawn, that beautiful little princess. And today I have a lot of work to do. Usually I have little on Tuesdays, but since she's not here today, I'm going to try to get a lot of editing done that I've been putting off. And a lot of people ask me what kind of editor I use, and I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to tell you some of the good and the bad about that editor, because I have recommended it to a lot of people, and I still do recommend it, and I'm going to show that to you in just a minute here, but I'm going to finish up my eggs, and then we'll get on with that. Okay, guys, so this is the editing software that I use right here. It's called Movie Studio Platinum, version 13, Vegas. It's basically a cheap version of Sony Vegas 13. This came from Amazon. I've honestly never used Sony Vegas 13, like a legitimate copy of that, so I cannot tell you exactly how it compares to this, but I know that anytime I have a problem or anytime I want to know how to do any specific editing that I'm just not sure of, I look up Sony Vegas 13 on YouTube, and any of the tutorials, almost every single one, has worked with this. Like I said, this comes from Amazon. I think you can find it on eBay too. And I believe this was 40 bucks. I could be wrong, it might have been a little bit more. But I know that nowadays they have version 14 and version 15 out. So this one right here you can probably get for 20-25 bucks right now. This is awesome editing software. I absolutely love it. I'm going to start with the bad, just because there's really only one bad thing about it that I found, and that is that it has like compatibility issues. So basically, while you are editing, it will freeze up and you lose everything. I'm not sure why it does. It just out of the blue will stop, and you'll get a little square on the screen that says something like Movie Studio has stopped working, and you have to shut it down and restart it, at which point it will say Movie Studio has automatically saved your last project. Do you want to recover it? And you hit yes, but the problem is it does not totally recover it. When you try to play it back, it plays with big like chunks of black screen. So let's just say if you have 10 separate video clips in there, like, 7 or 8 of them will be good, and then 1 or 2 will be nothing but a black screen. You can still hear it, but it'll just be nothing but a black picture. I have looked and looked and looked for a solution. There are some videos on YouTube where they say this works, that works, but I've tried them all. None of them work. So the way that you combat this problem is you edit about 2 minutes at a time, and then you don't save it, you render it. You render it as a finished project. Then in the end, you go back and you put all of those little finished projects on your timeline, and then you render that as one big final project. That seems like a pain in the butt, and it sort of is, because once you get on a roll, you just want to keep on editing, you just want to keep putting it together and have the whole thing right there and save it all as one. But unfortunately, 98% of the time, you will not get away with doing that. And I forget this myself. You guys probably see all the time that I post on Facebook how I'm so mad, I lost all my footage, I lost 6 hours of editing, because editing does not go quick. If you think you're gonna sit down and put out an awesome video with tons of editing and transitions and cuts, and, different music and effects and things like that, you think you're gonna sit down and just bang it out and be done in like 20 minutes, you are dead wrong. I mean, editing is a meticulous process, and especially if you get as detailed as I do sometimes. But sticking with the good and bad, that is the only thing bad that I found about this software right here. Just that thing where it freezes up, and you lose all your progress. But if you do, like I said, just edit like 2 to 3 minutes at a time, then render that, and then start again. And you can even bring that in. You can do 2 to 3 minutes, render that as a finished project, then bring it back into your movie studio, put it on your timeline, and then build on that and save it. And then bring that back in and build on that and save it and just keep making it bigger each time. You can do that. It's just that when you give it too much to do, it finally is just like, forget it, and it crashes and you lose it all if you're not being careful and rendering it, every couple of minutes. Now this gets kind of tricky sometimes because, like, if you're using music, you have to make sure that it's at the end of the song, or at least at a point where you think you'll be able to come back and put the music in later when you continue it and match it up perfectly, which is kind of difficult to do. It's not always as easy as it seems. So that's what I try to do, is just, if I'm doing 2 to 3 minutes, I try to end that segment with the end of the song so I don't have to try to match anything up. And then, like I said, in the end, you just put all the segments together and render it as one final project. So that is the bad part. I don't think there's anything else about this that I have found that is bad. Everything else is awesome. Editing is such a detailed process that it's really difficult for me to sit here and tell you what you can do and how to do it and things like that, especially in a short little morning show. But I can tell you this. Usually when people start out editing, they start with the software that comes with their computer, either iMovie on a Mac, or Windows Movie Maker on a regular PC. And that's fine, but all it will really let you do is put one line of video, which has its own line of audio, and then you can add a line of music. And that's it. With this movie studio, you can add as many layers as you want. It is incredible. I can't even tell you how many different video and audio tracks I have had stacked on each other to get certain effects. Because let's see, you have like your regular video, that comes with audio. Then if you want to have like an overlay, you can put one on top of that. If you want to use sound effects, you can stick that in too. Then if you want to add music on top of it, you can put that in. If you have like a bunch of little pieces of clip art that you want to put in and make one picture, but it's all in different files, you can just keep adding tracks. I think I have had up to probably 10 or 11 video tracks at once stacked on top of each other, and then you've got the regular audio, the music, the sound effects. It's just incredible what you can do with this thing. A few of my favorite examples of stacking video and audio tracks that I have used this software for, one of them was when I did the video for the abandoned skating rink, the roller arena in Massillon, Foxborough Roller Arena. And I'll overlay a little bit of that here so you can see what I'm talking about. But I have like newspaper clips just overlapping, going in different directions. I have music, and then when it gets to like there's a little bit of roller skating, there's a couple of clips where I just throw some roller skating in there on top of everything else that's going on, and then I put some sound effects in there with that. I think I used like the sound effect of a jet flying by to kind of signify that somebody's flying by on a roller skates. You just gotta play with a lot of this stuff when you're doing editing. Another one of my favorites is the Super Kmart in Warren, Ohio, where I took my footage and music, and then I took news clippings, not from a newspaper, but from the actual news on TV, and I overlaid that. So I'll give you a little example of that right here as well.
Before becoming an international chain, the very first Kmart store opened in Garden City. But after years of struggling, the company announced the closure of more than 100 stores across the nation.
I also used this to build my intro for the Bicentennial Barn series that's coming up.
When I said I was going to do this, I didn't know it was going to be so much fun. I'm such a dork.
And, I built that using this same software. Now, granted, you can't just sit down and go, I'm going to build that, You have to play around with it. You have to kind of learn how to use it and tweak things and play with your footage and pictures and transparent pictures and things like that. There's a lot more that goes into it than just popping this in your computer and then you're a whiz. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. You have to actually teach yourself how to do it. So I think I'm just going to leave it at that because I'm probably confusing the hell out of everyone right now. But I did want to tell you what I use. Movie Studio Platinum 13. Available on Amazon for, like I said, 20, 30, 40 bucks, something like that. Pretty cheap. Awesome software. You just have to deal with the one little glitch there, and if you just, do like I said, and render it every couple minutes and then stitch it all together in the end, then you'll be perfectly fine. But what do I know? I didn't even follow my own advice. Alright guys, I'm going to let you go. Wherever you're waking up, whatever time it is, make the best of your day. Do something for somebody else, pay it forward. Let's make this world a better place. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.